Behold the Great Mother. Her name is Rhea, and when we look closely we see her name echoes the word for the primordial flow, Rio, the sacred current from which all manifestation emerges. She is not merely a goddess, but the very matrix of becoming. As Cronus reigns supreme over the Titanic age, it is she, Rhea, the flowing mother, that gives birth to a new order. Her wisdom flows through many channels, from ancient Greece to Phrygia, to Egypt, to Canaan, and the ancient Mesopotamian mountains. In the Orphic tradition, she deceives, protects, and manifests new orders of reality. In Babylon, she unbinds the tablets of destiny and provides her son with the weapon to dismantle Tiamat. In Phrygia, she mourns the loss of her beloved Attis. What may appear to be different words and names all reveal the same mystery, a mother goddess whose flowing spirit gives birth to new worlds. Three great traditions speak of this moment: the Orphic mysteries with Rhea's deception of Cronus, feeding him the swaddled stone; the Babylonian mysteries, where Damkina unbound the tablets of destiny, unlocking Marduk's potential; the biblical Mary bringing forth the Logos, the Christ, the Soteria, the Saviour. But to understand these parallel streams, we must dive deeper than doctrine, deeper than dogma, into the very structure of manifestation itself. For here, in the time of the sacred birth amongst caves, we find a pattern that echoes through all the ancient traditions. This is not merely history. It is the eternal present moment, where the birth of a new order unfolds. In the flowing matrix of Rhea's divine consciousness, past, present and future exist simultaneously, waiting to be understood by those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. Now let us explore the hidden connections between these ancient streams of wisdom, revealing their common source in the eternal flow of divine manifestation. Was Rhea more than simply the queen of the Titans? Was she perhaps the prototype for Mary, the mother of Christ in the Bible? And was her son, Zeus, the Saviour, the foundation for Christ? Within the vast matrix of Rhea's consciousness, all Titanic powers find their place. Not as separate entities, but as aspects of her own divine nature flowing into manifestation. Through her essence of eternal flow, she contains and transforms them all. The cosmic waters of Oceanus become her lifeblood, circulating through the body of creation. The transcendent fire of Hyperion, tempered in her depths, becomes the warmth of living form. The abstract intelligence of Chaos finds through her its concrete expression in matter. In her depths, Crios' stellar patterns are woven into the fabric of space itself. Through her matrix, Iapetus' gift of mortality becomes the sacred rhythm of birth and death. Even mighty Cronus, time himself, finds his expression through her flowing nature. For what is time without the substance through which it moves? What is change without that which changes? And her sister queens, they are not separate from her, but expressions of her own divine nature. Through Tethys, her flow becomes the sacred waters of life. In Thea, her substance becomes divine light. As Phoebe, her wisdom manifests as prophecy. Through Mnemosyne, her eternal present becomes memory. In Themis, her flow becomes the order of divine law. This is the deeper mystery of the Titanic family, not a hierarchy of separate powers, but a single divine matrix of becoming. Rhea, whose very name means to flow, is not merely one among many, but the very substance of transformation through which all powers find their expression. In her cosmic womb, all opposites are reconciled. Through her divine substance, all powers are made manifest. She is not just the mother of gods, but the very possibility of manifestation itself, the eternal flow through which the abstract becomes concrete, the infinite takes form, and divine potential becomes sacred reality. For it is Cronus who rules with an iron fist and the adamantine blade. What does the horizon bear? Who will become the Lord of the horizon? The Hebrew reveals what centuries of translation have obscured: RVH, Ruach, the divine breath, feminine in its original form, not simply spirit, but the flowing matrix of creation itself. The writers of Genesis knew a truth they dared not speak directly. That before the masculine god spoke light into being, a more ancient power moved in the depths. Like the Babylonian Tiamat, like the Greek Rhea, this was the great mother whose flowing substance made creation possible. Look closer at the text. The earth was without form and void, tov vabov, tohu vavohu. Not chaos, but pure potential. Not emptiness, but the pregnant void of the cosmic womb. Plato understood this when he spoke of the Chora, the receptacle, the matrix, the cosmic mother through whom all forms come into being. This was no abstract concept, but the very principle that Heraclitus recognized when he declared Pantarei. Everything flows, for in every river the ancient wisdom saw her power. Not just water moving, but the very substance of reality in eternal transformation. This is why the pre-Socratic philosophers spoke of water as the first principle, not simple H2O, but the flowing matrix of Rhea herself. What the writers of Genesis could not say directly, they encoded in symbol and metaphor. The waters of creation, the divine breath moving upon them. These are not mere poetic images, but traces of the Great Mother's presence hidden in plain sight. This is not merely academic speculation. In recovering this hidden wisdom, we touch something essential about the nature of reality itself. For the flow that Rhea embodies is not simply movement, but the very possibility of transformation. The divine substance through which spirit becomes matter, potential becomes actual, and eternal becomes temporal. What profound mystery did the writers of Matthew and Luke conceal when they placed the birth of divinity in a manger instead of a cave? What ancient knowledge were they preserving, or perhaps protecting? In the Gospel of James we see not a stable but a cave whereby the Christ is born. And the midwife said to him, "Is this true?" And Joseph said to her, "Come and see." And the midwife went away with him, and they stood in the place of the cave, and behold, a luminous cloud overshadowed the cave. And a great light shone in the cave, so that the eyes could not bear it, and in a little that light gradually decreased, until the infant appeared, and went and took the breast from his mother Mary. This verse from the Gospel of James clearly echoes that of the Orphic birth of Zeus. Thither came Gaia, carrying him swiftly through the black night to Lyktos first, and took him in her arms, and hid him in a remote cave beneath the secret places of the holy earth. The cave of Rhea speaks to us across millennia, not merely a hollow in the earth, but the very womb of transformation itself. Here, in the sacred darkness where all potentials gestate, we find a truth so profound it transcends any single tradition. Listen to how the Orphic voice echoes through time. To prevent Kronos from hearing the cries of the child, Adrasteia stood in front of the cave and loudly clashed brazen cymbals and beat a goatskin drum. The Kuretes, not simple warriors but practitioners of the most ancient technology of consciousness. These warriors symbolize the pillars that keep the divine order of cosmos. Their dance was not mere movement, but the very rhythm of creation itself. Their weapons struck not at flesh, but at the fabric of ordinary reality, creating a space where transformation could occur. They not only protect Zeus from Kronos, but they will also in turn protect Kronos from Zeus after the birth of the Olympian age. Consider this passage from the Orphic fragments 146 and 151. While by herself, Rhea generates the Kuretes, who we say are implacable, and through the whole, three have been organized with her from her being of one implacable nature according to an oracle delivered by God. Are these three beings an echo of the three wise men that come to witness the birth of Jesus? Three male figures heralding the dawn of a new age, the parallels are truly startling. And in Babylon's memory, we find the same pattern. In the Chamber of the Destinies, the Room of the Archetypes, this too was a cave, the sacred space where Damkina protected Marduk, where the next phase of cosmic evolution was sheltered from the old order. From Dicta to Bethlehem, from Phrygia to Anatolia, the pattern repeats. The cave as cosmic womb, the armed guardians, the divine child who would transform the world. But why? What necessity demanded this consistent pattern? And blessed night, gleaming with the blue of dawn, answered him, saying, "Surround everything in the aether, and bind them all with a golden ethereal chain." This she said to him before he remade the world in his image, much like the Logos the Christ would do in his resurrection. Is this mere coincidence or a common thread shared between cultures? Here lies the deeper mystery. The cave is not merely a place of hiding, but a cosmic technology. Within its sacred darkness, the very structure of reality can be transformed. The Koretes dance creates not just sound, but a vibrational matrix through which new patterns of existence can emerge. When the Gospel writers placed Jesus' birth in a cave, they weren't simply recording history. They were preserving an ancient wisdom about the nature of divine transformation itself. The shepherds and wise men who came to worship were drawn to this through sound and sign. This echo of the Koretes is clear. Are the clashing sounds of the bronze shields preserved in the trumpets of the heavenly host? Is the shining eastern star perhaps the glimmer of light, reflecting off the shields of these ancient protectors of divinity? In the depths of Rhea's cave, a pattern was established that would echo through all subsequent spiritual traditions. A pattern that speaks to the very nature of consciousness itself. For what emerged from that cave was not simply a new deity, but a new understanding of reality itself. What profound truth lies hidden in one of humanity's oldest written stories? What wisdom did the priests of Babylon preserve about the Divine Mother that would echo through all subsequent traditions? Here, in one of humanity's first sacred texts, we find her, Tiamat, the great mother whose body would become the cosmos itself. Not merely water, but the primordial matrix of all potential, the sacred substance through which creation would flow into being. But deeper still lies another parallel, Damkina, the Lady of the Earth, whose protection of Marduk mirrors Rhea's protection of Zeus with such precision it cannot be coincidence. Listen to how the patterns align. As Rhea deceived Kronos to protect Zeus, so Damkina unbound the cosmic bonds to protect Marduk. As Rhea's cave became the womb of transformation, so Damkina's palace became the chamber of destinies. And Ea and Damkina, his wife, sat in splendor. In the chamber of the destinies, the room of the archetypes, in Apsu was Marduk born, in pure Apsu was Marduk born. Ea his father begat him, Damkina his mother bore him. He sucked the breasts of goddesses, a nurse reared him and filled him with terror. His figure was well developed, the glance of his eyes was dazzling, his growth was manly, he was mighty from the beginning. The Babylonian priests tell us directly, let later people who would not know see it. What were they preserving? What knowledge were they encoding? In both traditions, we find the Divine Mother as keeper of cosmic bonds, not simply a protector, but a transformer of reality itself. Through her actions, the old order is not merely overthrown, but transformed, transcended, elevated into new patterns of being. The parallel is exact. As Rhea's deception enabled Zeus to become king of the gods, so Damkina's unbinding allowed Marduk to reshape the cosmos. As the Dictaean cave became the womb of new divinity, so the Chamber of Destinies became the matrix of new creation. This is no mere mythological coincidence. In these parallel patterns we find evidence of an even more ancient wisdom, a knowledge of cosmic transformation so profound it had to be preserved in multiple streams, encoded in multiple traditions. For what these divine mothers protected was not simply their divine children, but something far more significant, a secret about the very nature of consciousness itself. In the sacred act of binding and unbinding, we encounter not merely mythological motif, but a profound technology of cosmic transformation. Through the Divine Mother's hands, the very fabric of reality is unwoven and rewoven anew. Consider how the Orphic voice speaks. She deceived Kronos by presenting him with a rock around which she wrapped swaddling clothes. Kronos promptly swallowed the rock, thinking it was his newborn son. and in Babylon's memory, the tablets of destiny which Chingu had taken and carried. He took charge of it as a trophy and presented it to Anu, are eventually unbound by Damkina and given to Marduk, signifying his ascendancy and the dissolution of the old power. These are not separate stories, but multiple expressions of a single profound truth that transformation requires both binding and unbinding, both concealment and revelation. The stone that deceived Kronos was not merely a substitute, but a cosmic anchor, binding the old order while the new gestated in darkness. The tablets of destiny, the swaddled stone, these are not mere symbols but instruments of reality's transformation. Through them, the Divine Mothers enacted not just protection but profound metaphysical revolution. For what is bound in matter must first be unbound in spirit. What is transformed in heaven must find its echo on earth. This is the deeper wisdom that Rhea and Damkina preserved, that cosmic evolution requires both the protection of the new and the transformation of the old. And here, we touch the profound truth that would echo through all subsequent traditions. For what these Divine Mothers protected was not merely their sons, but the very possibility of consciousness evolution itself. Let later people who would not know see it. This was no mere hope, but a sacred intention. For the pattern they established would manifest again and again in Cybele's protection of Attis, in Isis's gathering of Osiris, and her protection of Horus in the swamp, in Mary's flight to Egypt, her eventual birth in the cave. For what these ancient wisdom keepers understood was that divine transformation follows eternal patterns. The cave becomes a manger, the Curates become shepherds, perhaps the wise men, the cosmic bonds become swaddling clothes, yet beneath these shifting symbols a single truth remains. That the Divine Mother, whether named Rhea or Damkina, Cybele or Mary, serves not merely as protector, but as the very matrix through which divine consciousness evolves. Through her, the eternal enters time, the infinite takes form, and the cosmic drama of transformation unfolds anew. And in this understanding, we begin to grasp why these ancient patterns have survived, why they continue to resonate, and why they may be more relevant now than ever before. In the sacred gesture of blessing, a mystery unfolds across millennia. Not merely a movement of fingers, but a codified transmission of ancient wisdom. For in the raised hand of the Christian priest, we find an echo of something far more ancient. Behold the hand of Sabazios, 3 fingers raised to heaven, 2 curved toward earth. Not simply a gesture, but a cosmic technology encoding the relationship between higher and lower worlds. Through this sacred mudra, the priests of Phrygia transmitted knowledge of divine intermediation. The Benedictio Latina gesture preserves this wisdom, though few now recognize its source. For in this seemingly simple movement lies encoded the entire mystery of divine transformation, how the infinite enters time, how the eternal takes form through sacred intermediaries. Consider how the pattern unfolds. As Zeus was hidden in Rhea's cave, protected by sacred sound, so Sabazios descended to earth, marked by sacred gesture. So Christ would enter matter, heralded by cosmic signs. This is no mere historical borrowing, but the preservation of profound metaphysical understanding. A wisdom that was transmitted to humanity through the divine matrix of Rhea, Cybele, Isis and her many forms, and through her deliverance of the Soteria. The raised hand becomes a lightning rod between heaven and earth. The curved fingers shape the very currents of divine force. Patterns known to the priests of Cybele, transmitted through the mysteries of Sabazios, preserved in the very heart of Christian ritual. For what was preserved was not merely symbol, but substance, the very methodology of divine incarnation itself. This is more than mere coincidence. It is a marker that is found in multiple traditions signifying a universal story. Through these sacred gestures, the ancient wisdom of Rhea's transformative power found new expression, new form, new life. And in this understanding, we begin to grasp something profound about the nature of spiritual transmission itself, how ancient wisdom flows not just through texts and teachings, but through the very patterns of embodied sacred technology. For what these gestures preserve is nothing less than the secret of divine transformation itself, how consciousness evolves, how spirit enters matter, how the eternal drama of cosmic evolution continues to unfold. And in these patterns, these gestures, these sacred technologies, we find not just historical artifacts, but living keys to mysteries still unfolding. In the end, all streams return to their source. The story of Rhea, her deception, her protection, her transformation of cosmic order, reveals itself not as ancient history, but as an eternal pattern, continuously unfolding through the very fabric of consciousness itself. Consider how her pattern ripples through time. Through her sacred deception, Zeus would rise to reshape the cosmos with thunderbolt and lightning. Through her wisdom, Sabazios would descend to bridge heaven and earth. Through her mystery, Dionysus would teach humanity the secret of divine transformation. Through her echo, Christ would emerge from a cave to revolutionize human consciousness. This is no mere theological evolution, but the preservation of a profound technology of consciousness transformation. For what Rhea protected was not simply her divine child, but the very possibility of cosmic evolution itself. The suppression of the divine feminine in our sacred texts reveals itself not as successful erasure, but as strategic concealment. For in the very act of hiding wisdom, our ancestors ensured its preservation. The waters of creation in Genesis, the cave of Bethlehem, the sacred gestures of blessing, all encode her continuing presence. What emerges is a pattern of revolutionary potential. As Rhea's deception shattered the rigid order of Kronos, so each emergence of the divine child breaks open calcified structures of consciousness, as her flowing wisdom preserved the seed of cosmic evolution. So her pattern continues to dissolve outdated paradigms, making way for new understanding. This is the deeper significance of soteria, not merely salvation, but the continuous possibility of transformation. Each divine child, whether Zeus or Christ, Dionysus or Attis, represents not just a historical figure, but a pattern of the evolution of human consciousness. And here we touch the profound relevance of Rhea's wisdom for our present moment. For we too stand at a threshold of consciousness transformation. The rigid structures of our own time cry out for her flowing wisdom, her capacity for revolutionary change, her protection of emerging possibility. In our environmental crisis, we hear her call to reconnect with sacred landscape. In our psychological exploration, we rediscover her cave of transformation. In our spiritual seeking, we re-enter her mystery of divine birth. In our scientific revolution, we reawaken to her patterns of cosmic flow. For Rhea's gift was not merely to her divine child, but to all consciousness seeking to evolve. Her flowing wisdom reveals itself as the very medium of transformation, the eternal pattern through which new realities emerge from the womb of possibility. As we face our own cosmic threshold, her wisdom becomes not historical artifact, but living necessity. And in this recognition, we become not merely students of her mystery, but participants in its continuing unfolding. For the flow continues, the pattern persists, and the revolution of consciousness that began in her sacred cave seeks new expression through our own awakening understanding. Join us next time as we continue to reveal the epic clash between father and son, between Titanic and Olympian,